Coming up on the Joe Rossano Show. Are you ready for facts? Unfiltered, unbiased, uncensored. The Joe Rossano Show is next. Welcome to the Joe Rossano Show. Hi, I am Joe Rossano, where we deal with facts. We don't do fake news. We don't do conspiracies. Let's rock. Living with anxiety. I did a show recently where I kind of did a show about myself, just kind of introduced myself to the folks. And I let everyone know that I have what is called generalized anxiety disorder. Now, when it comes to anxiety, those who don't have this condition, much to your credit, by the way, and I'll get to that, basically, the best way I can ever explain it or describe it to anyone is we folks with anxiety disorders worry more than your average folks do. Okay, now, much to my credit, I'm getting better. Medication certainly helped. My anxiety from my therapist stems from hereditary, my mother, and environmental. And I'm from Baltimore City. I got beat up 14 times a week, etc. That's kind of, at least that's what he says my anxiety came from. And I wanted to use my little platform here to get mental illness out of the closet because that's exactly where it is. Because, and take it from me, folks, it's embarrassing. It really is. So I'm going to give you some examples of my anxieties. And please comment, send me an email, joe@joerossano.com. I will put them in the jar back here and read them right here on air. A lot of my anxiety stems from medical stuff. I'm scared of doctors. I'm scared of needles. I'm scared of disease. I'm the kind of person I used to be. Medication has helped. Therapy has helped. I'm going to get to that too. If I would have a headache, brain tumor. If I had a stomach ache, colon cancer. I had a scab on my knee cancer. Really, it's that. When I would do my annual physical, like let's say a month before I go to the doctor, complete anxiety. I'm nervous every day until I get to the doctor. Then when I'm sitting in the waiting room, I'm really nervous. Again, it's just that is my sweet spot right there is medical related stuff. My blood pressure shoots up soon as I tell the nurse, "Hey, look, let me tell you what you're going to see here. You're going to see, 190 over 130. It's, generally high. And what I have to do in most cases is sit there for like 20 minutes, let them take it again. So it stabilizes and therefore don't need medication. Because if you just take my blood pressure once at the doctor's office, medication. But, they tell me to calm down, think about the ocean, whatever makes you feel calm, and we'll take it again. Here's some more examples of anxiety stuff. You'll send a friend a text message, somebody you're just very fond of and very fond of you. They don't respond for like a day. To those who don't have anxiety disorders, hey, that person's busy. That person's life does not revolve around you. The person with anxiety, he's mad at me. Something's wrong in our relationship. He didn't respond to my text message in 10 seconds, so he must be angry with me about something. No, he's not. What an anxiety disorder does, folks, is it sometimes makes you view the world in an unrealistic fashion. In most cases, you go to the doctor, nothing wrong, in most cases, but you think, or at least I think, that I'm going to have a disease that no one else has on the earth that's you can't cure. That my doctor's going to tell me I have leprosy. That sometimes is how far it goes. You think in the worst case scenarios. You are capable of jumping to the worst possible conclusion in a single bound. At the end of the day, that's kind of what an anxiety disorder does. And I would really like to drag it out of the closet. And the thing with an anxiety disorder or other mental illness, folks, is I don't bleed from my eyes. I don't walk on a cane. I'm not in a wheelchair. So you can't see it. And sometimes I think that is the problem in and of itself is two things. One, your average person can't see it. And two, a person with an anxiety disorder or other mental illness, it's a touchy situation. It's an embarrassing situation. And, you know, kind of don't like talking about it. And I'm here to tell you to please talk about it. If I didn't address this, Lord knows where I would be right now. So, again, my strong suggestion is to talk about it, get a therapist, medication if necessary. It helped me. It really did. Now, I'm going to give you folks a couple of pointers here, especially those who have the medical part of the anxiety disorder. Do not Google anything. Okay. Again, if your elbow hurts, go to a doctor and ask him what's wrong. Do not Google anything. Go to the doctor and ask them what's wrong. If your elbow hurts, as far as Google's concerned, elbow cancer. It will tell you, well, you may have strained your elbow or your arm needs to be amputated. So I don't Google anything anymore. The slightest thing. Big toe hurts. I'm not Googling it because it will say either you sprained your big toe or you got big toe cancer. And I'm dead serious. Take it from me. I went to the University of Google. Okay. I got my medical license from Google. And I'm telling you, don't do that. A lot of things that revolve around an anxiety disorder. And again, speak for myself. Fortunately, I don't have anxiety 24 hours a day. That's not how my anxiety works. I only have anxiety when there's a reason to have anxiety. If I got to go to the doctor or when you do blood work at the doctor, that is the longest 2 days of my life waiting for those results. Scares me to death, figuratively speaking. That is kind of where my anxiety lies. And another part of it is I don't live in the moment. I live in the past or I live in the future. That is the one thing that therapist will try to work with you on is living in the moment. I'm going to bring up my wife here real quick. Her name is Brenda. Married 26 years, been together 30 years. And I will tell you this, she still to this very day does not have a clear understanding of anxiety or my anxiety. And what I have learned respectfully to her is a person who doesn't have an anxiety disorder, it's really difficult to understand someone who does. People will say to me all the time, relax, it's no big deal. Chill out. That is like asking a person in a wheelchair that is paralyzed to get up and do jumping jacks. It sounds easy enough, but it isn't. It really, really isn't. And that's the whole thing. Now, again, I'm going to get back to my wife here, and I got to give her credit. God bless her. Brenda, if you're watching, wow. I'm not envious of this, sweetie. I am jealous. My wife lives in the moment. Wow, what I wouldn't do for a day of that. That's amazing. My wife is working, she's working. If my wife is cooking, she's cooking. If my wife's out dancing, she's out dancing. That is exactly where she is. I'm doing the dishes. I'm thinking about things that are going to happen 8 years from now that in most cases don't happen. That's the other thing about an anxiety disorder. You stress out about something and it works out. You're scared, you're worried, you're nervous. And about 96% of the time, you had no reason to be nervous in the first place. But that's what an anxiety disorder does. And again, I can't stress enough, folks. Please, no question about it. If you have an anxiety disorder, any type of mental illness, seek help. Really. Find yourself a therapist. Psychology.com, I think it is, something like that. Most of them take insurance. Find yourself a therapist. And if medication is necessary and that's something that you and your provider decide upon, it helps. Doesn't cure it, but it helps. My anxiety, I don't have panic attacks, thank God. I know folks who have an anxiety disorder, they don't even want to go out of the house. And if they're in a crowd, they can't stay there. They got to leave. They got to breathe into a bag or, whatever the case may be. Thank God my anxiety isn't at that level. Mine is more moderate, but it hurts your quality of life. It really does. And I want to bring awareness to this. That's one thing I can do is two things. One, I want to bring awareness to mental illness, and I want to try to convince all of you to adopt a pet. Don't buy them from a breeder. Get yourself a pet from a rescue foundation or a rescue organization. That's the two things. Mental illness, adopt a pet. Now, back in 2016, I had the absolute pleasure of interviewing a nice fella named Mickey Cucchiella. So before I run the clip of my conversation with Mickey Cucchiella, because Mickey and I discussed our anxiety disorders, because that's something Mickey and I have in common. Both Mickey and I have anxiety disorders, and it's okay for me to say it here because Mickey is very open about it, and I was always very happy to see that. Mickey, if you're watching, this is kind of going to be an open love letter because when it comes to Mickey Cucchiella, I got to tell you, Mickey, I'm going to pretend I'm talking to you because we do that too. I am a big, gushing Mickey Cucchiella fan. I really am. So let's give Mickey some plugs here. Podcast, Mickey Talks. Mickey is co-host Matt Davis. Great show, great podcast. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, iHeart, and he has like big time celebrities that come on to his show. Corey Garrison, Pete Eibner. It's amazing. So I wanted to tell you, Mickey, by the way, I really appreciate you coming on so many years ago onto the Joe Rossano show before I got silenced. And I'll discuss that in another episode. Mickey, you did not have to come on my show. I thought that was just the nicest thing. And I'll never forget you for that. Thank you so much, Mickey, for coming on my show, spending some time, and consider this an open invitation. Matter of fact, Mickey, please come back. Please come back on or have me on your show. I'll do your show at 4 o'clock in the morning. Let me know when. A few days later, Mickey has me on 98 Rock as a co-host at Jimmy's Seafood election day between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump at the time. No big deal to you, Mickey. I have every reason to believe that was not a big deal to you. Mickey, as far as I was concerned, I was on 60 Minutes. Okay. I was on Face the Nation. I absolutely loved it. That was probably my top 5 most exhilarating things I ever did. And to you, it's kind of old hat. You're on the air all the time, that kind of thing. To me, on the other hand, I mean, I'm telling you, I was on a major news network that night, and I wanted to take a moment here to say thank you, Mickey. Wow, thanks for coming on my show. Thanks for having me on 98 Rock at the time. It was wonderful. You didn't have to, and I will always forever be eternally grateful. So let's talk about some more Mickey Cucchiella here. Folks, I'm telling you, wow. If you have the opportunity and you live in Maryland or the surrounding areas, check out Mickey Cucciella's stand-up. I'm going to run a clip here in a moment. He has national talent that you can see right there locally. Okay, the Matt Rifes, the Bill Burrs, etc. Mickey is right on that level. I am a firm believer, a guy who sits behind a microphone as Mickey does. Either you have it or you do not. And Mickey Cucchiella has it. What a talent he is. So I'm going to read your fortune here, Mickey. You'll thank me later. In the not so distant future, I think you're going to see the Mickey Cucchiella movie on Netflix. I think you're going to be in Vegas to play the slots, and you're going to catch Mickey at the Bellagio. He's that good, folks. He's that good. So again, opportunity. Please check out Mickey Talks podcast with Matt Davis. Again, iHeart, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. And that's Mickey Talks, Mickey Talks. It is phenomenal. And again, Mickey, please come back. And again, folks, I am telling you, if you have the opportunity, please go check out Mickey Cucciella's stand-up. Hilarious. It's amazing. Roll it.
Like, I literally think when I walk in the door, my wife should be waiting like this. She can have, listen, she can have anything she wants. I've never said no to anything. I'm just saying, like, I just want to walk in my house one time and go, where are the kids? Whoa, what the fuck? Hey, whoa, let go, let go. Stop it, stop it. Oh, God, this is awesome.
I'm dying laughing here. That was so funny. Getting back to the anxiety thing, again, Mickey and I discussed it on the Joe Rossano show back in 2016. Roll it.
Part of the anxiety depression thing is that no one feels safe talking about it. And I'll look right in the camera and say it. Talking about it, dealing with it, saved my life. No other way to put it. If I would have kept this in, I would be dead. There's zero doubt in my mind.
Let me say into the camera that Mr. Cucchiella is absolutely 100% correct. It's, again, what it did to me, it takes away your quality of life. In counsel, what part of my treatment is to try to live in the moment.
Sure.
You know, me, I worried about the 25 things I did when I was 22.
Yeah.
Okay. And
The 40 things you got to do tomorrow.
The 40 things I got to do tomorrow.
At the end of the day, folks, I hope this helped. I really do. Please talk about it. Bring it out. Find a therapist. If medication is an option with you and your provider, that's a good idea. Take it easy on the folks with anxiety disorders. Again, it is so hard to understand when you don't have an anxiety disorder. It really, really is. And unfortunately, the chill out, relax, don't worry about it doesn't help. Now, I like to bring a little humor to everything. Sometimes I find my anxiety disorder, I think it's funny. My friends think my anxiety disorder is hilarious. I have a friend of mine, thank God, he's doing well. He had skin cancer, cut off his face. And one of my friends, my close friends call me Rossano, said, oh man, don't show Rossano that. He'll go to his doctor and tell him he's got skin cancer. Again, I joke about my anxiety, but it's no laughing matter. Again, let me say to any of you who have an anxiety disorder, any mental illness, reach out to me, folks, please. Be happy to talk to you. Please comment or send me an email. Joe@joerossano.com. It is Joe@joerossano.com. And I'll read them right here on air. Speaking of reading right here on air, it's time for the jar. So let me grab my jar here real quick. Great idea, this jar, by the way. What a great idea. It's not my idea. I banged my microphone. Not my idea, but it was a great idea. So what happens is people comment and they send me messages, etc. I put them here in this jar and I read them on air. So generally, I will just pick a random thing out of the old jar here. This is how many I got when I did the anxiety segment on the Joe Rossano show a few weeks back. So I generally will pick them at random, but in this case, I'm going to do the anxiety stuff. All right. Allison from Baltimore. Hi, Allison. Hey, Joe. I have an anxiety problem too. Thanks for bringing it up. What is your best advice for somebody who has an anxiety disorder? Best advice is to not hide it. Don't hide it. Find a therapist that helps. And again, this medication thing, I always say if it's right for you and your provider, it helped me. I wish you all the best. And it's tough. It really is. As always, bring it up. Talk to folks about it. Talk to people you are close with. Get a therapist. It definitely helps. Let's grab another. Let's see here. We have Tina from New Orleans. Wow, that's pretty neat. That is pretty neat. Joe, I've had an anxiety problem my whole life. Will there ever be a cure for anxiety? I don't think so. I really don't. And that was the thing that I thought early on was I'll go to a therapist, I'll go to a doctor, and they'll cure it. It doesn't work that way. It's breathing exercises and cognitive behavioral therapy. That's a good one. Again, I only say medication if it's right for you and if you and your provider decide that it's right for you. But, I don't suggest medication right off the bat. It depends on how well you manage it and how well you use what they teach you, coping skills. All right, going to do one more here. So let me grab the old jar here. Great idea, this jar, by the way. Wasn't my idea. She's going to kill me, but it was my wife's idea. My wife is also the showrunner, the executive producer, and the lead writer here on the Joe Rossano Show. Brenda Rossano, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I love you very much. So to the jar, here we go. We got Mike from Michigan, and wow, that's so cool because of the internet, etc. I get comments, I get emails, I get messages on social media from people all over the country. And, a guy named Mike from Michigan has actually heard of me. So I think that's pretty cool. I appreciate it, Mike. Mike writes, why do you think Hallmark movies are therapeutic? Seems like chick flicks. Well, thank you, Mike. Mike, I'm going to tell you what they say. I'm talking about professionals. That Hallmark romance movies and movies like that you're guaranteed a happy ending. You kind of know how it's going to end when you first start watching it. I'm so good at it now. I could write a Hallmark Christmas romance movie. Give me a call, Hallmark. I can write these things for you. So here we go. You have a guy that owns a cookie factory in Christmas Town, which is always in Canada, by the way. I don't care if they say they're in Michigan or they're in Kentucky, no, they're in Canada. Now, he owns a cookie factory and it's in trouble. Now, you got a high-powered New York executive woman who wants that big promotion, but she has to go to this Christmas town where the cookie factory is and close it down. So she travels there to close it down, but doesn't tell anybody she's there to close it down. Now, in the meantime, the guy that owns a cookie factory, he's like better looking than like everybody else on earth, and he's got abs. And then during her time there, she visits his gram and has eggnog or hot cocoa or Graham's homemade chocolate chip cookies. And she starts to fall in love with the cookie factory owner. Then, I don't even know why I went on this tangent, but I'm here now. So then he finds out that she's there to close his cookie factory. He gets upset with her. And then how does it end? He fights her boss, doesn't close his cookie factory, decides to move to that town to be with this guy and quit her job in New York. It snows, they kiss, the end. That really helps. So again, at the end of the day, Mike from Michigan, when you know how it's going to end and you don't have to be in agony over it and sitting on the edge of your seat wondering how this movie's going to end, you know how it's going to end, and that really helps. Please like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell, and comment, and I will put your comments right here in the jar, read them on air, and I will ask you, please subscribe, folks, because it's my understanding that really helps. It's my understanding, 1,000 people could watch and like 8 of them subscribe. So please click the subscribe button. Please like, please comment. Again, read your comments right here on air. Joe Rossano's rant of the day. Rant of the day. Social media and the internet. The good, the bad, and the ugly, because I got a love-hate relationship with both social media and the internet. So, the good. I'm all over social media. Social media has taken a guy like me, nobody's ever heard of, and gives me a platform to reach people all over the world. I love that. I have had the opportunity on social media to reconnect with people that I haven't seen in many years and now are a part of my life again. That's wonderful. It really is. The internet in general, you can go on the internet and buy anything, a touchless toaster, and it'll be at your house in like 8 hours. That's amazing. You can find anything. You can book tickets. You can plan a vacation, all that stuff. It is wonderful. It really is. The bad. People can say the nastiest stuff about you. Okay. You're in Vermont, they're in Utah, so you can't get to them. Gone are the days, folks. Gone are the days when somebody ran their mouth and got punched in it. Okay. Those days are gone because now a person can hide on the internet, hide on social media, and even hide their identity or use a VPN and hide their location. Also, the cyberbullying thing. Now, I have a hypersensitivity there. Now, fortunately, that's never happened to my daughter, but I do have a daughter. And you wouldn't believe some of the stuff these disgusting people do. They'll threaten a young lady to do something on camera, or they're going to share this and that about her. They prey on young people. That's horrible. And that I will fight that every day. And if you know anybody who's cyberbullying or anything like that, please contact your local law enforcement or whomever handles the cyberbully stuff, because that's horrible. That really is. Now, I'm glad, I really am, that when I was a young man, there was no internet. There were no cell phones, that type of thing, for various reasons. But I was able to connect with folks personally, in person. I went over to people's houses and we played with Hot Wheel cars or built models or played video games or went out and played. We played baseball or soccer, etc. Every time I see a young person now, they're on their phone. And it's not only the young people. I'm on my phone all the time, everywhere I am. If I'm in a restaurant, I'm on my phone. If I'm out dancing, I'm on the dance floor with my phone. Everybody's on their phones now. The internet, social media has this beautiful side to it, connecting with people, especially those that you haven't seen in a long time. Being able to buy anything, that is so cool. It really is. Example, my keyboard stopped working. I order one on Amazon. I'm telling you, it was in my house in like 2.5 hours. That's crazy. You can grocery shop online. But again, the downside is that someone can hide their identity and try to do the worst things to you, try to say the worst things to you, try to steal from you, steal your identity, steal your house. That is the downside of it. And that is unfortunate because a lot of the internet, a lot of social media, it's really cool. It really, really is. So again, anybody has an issue with cyberbullying or anything else, tell your parents right away, right away. Contact law enforcement right away. And if somebody threatens you and asks you to do something, don't do it. I don't care what they say. Don't do it. Once again, thank you for tuning in to the Joe Rossano Show, where we deal with facts. We are unfiltered, unbiased, uncensored. Please, and I say please, like, share, subscribe. Click the notification bell for all the latest episodes of the Joe Rossano Show. Comment. I will put them here in the jar, read them right here online. Coming up, great new show I'm doing with a very nice woman named Katy Perry, the OG KDP. You think it, we say it. Again, you think it, we say it, with Katie and Joe after dark. So check it out, coming up real soon. I want to give a special thank you to my old dear friend, Mickey Cucchiella. Got to tell you, folks, get the opportunity. Check out Mickey Talks. That is Mickey Talks. And again, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, iHeart, YouTube, wherever you get your favorite podcast, search Mickey Talks. Him and his co-host, Matt Davis, they do a great job. It's a great podcast. You get the opportunity to go see Mickey Cucchiella stand up hilarious, great time. You go on a date or just want to hang out and have a good time, forget your troubles. And I've seen Mickey many times. Absolutely wonderful. And as I mentioned to you before, Mickey, the folks love you, and I've always been just so happy to see that. Once again, God bless you, my dearest friends and fellow Americans. Adopt a pet, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell for all the latest episodes of The Joe Rossano Show.